Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining our panel today. This is the Youth Engagement in Safe Streets Efforts panel. I'm joined by some great folks who are doing work throughout the region, and I am so thrilled to introduce everyone. I'm Stephanie Tulowetzke. I'm the Vision Zero Coalition Manager at WABA. You probably have received many emails from me over the last couple of days about the summit. So thank you all for joining us today. And I am happy to pass it over to Katie to go ahead and talk to us about her work.
Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Davis, and I am the Education Programs Coordinator at WABA. I oversee all of our in-school and then youth programming, and so I can talk a little bit about youth programming. And I would also love to share a few slides with you guys, just so you can get a good idea of what our classes look like. And let's see, I don't think I have permissions to share the slides, but maybe in the meantime, I can talk about kind of what we do with the programs coordination for youth. We host classes in school, and then we also host classes on the weekend for youth to learn how to ride bikes in the first place. Until streets are built for people and built for bikers, we want to make sure that bikers have the ability to keep themselves as safe as possible. So looking for car doors opening, looking for opportunities to signal to cars and other riders on the street are big skills that we follow. And then also taking games from other curriculums that we found. We are big fans of not reinventing the wheel. So we actually look at the curriculum that the Scottish government designed and that the Danish government designed for games for students to work on in and out of class. So I think the things that I'm excited to share, we have links to our curriculum that I can send over to Stephanie and also are in the presentation, but I want to share those far and wide for anyone who wants to incorporate them into their bike education or any events that they're doing with youth. We found that they're super successful and fun, and part of my favorite part of the job is just instilling bike joy in kids and the bravery to be on streets, because the streets are made for them to be owned by students and youth. So the understanding that bikes give you the ability to explore your city and have fun with friends, as well as get places from point A to point B, is really important to me. And these have proven to work really well for that. We're also hoping to expand our classes. On the weekends, we're doing more family classes, so more trail riding classes, so that folks in all the wards in DC have the ability to explore their community. Let's see, I have the screen sharing, so I will just show a little bit about what our classes look like and do that really quickly. Let's see while this loads. Our classes are capped at 10 students. So a lot of them are held in parking lots, and we try and hold them in each ward. And kids of all ages, anywhere from first grade up to 8th grade is what we work with. And then these are some of the games and some of the game designs that we have. And I would be happy to share these links and drop them in to the presentation chat that we have. But yeah, feel free to chat me any questions about the curriculum that we have. WABA can't do it all, and so we would love to have as many partners as we can plug in to youth education. And let's see, I think that is all I have, unless folks have questions in the chat. I will have to leave a little bit early too, so feel free to chat questions, and I'll drop my email in the chat too in the meantime while I'm on. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Katie. I think we're going to keep having everybody introduce themselves, and then the second portion of the panel will be question and answer. So I will go ahead and move us on to Kori.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can see my screen. If you can't, let me know, but it should be working. Good afternoon. I'm Kori Johnson with the Safe Routes Partnership. I'm our program and engagement manager. So I support a lot of Safe Routes to School programs and Safe Routes work all across the country, including here in the DMV. I live in DC, a few blocks up from the zoo. And we're really lucky to do a lot of work around engaging youth in Vision Zero and Safe Routes to School here in DC and a little bit in Maryland and Northern Virginia. So I'm happy to share a bit about the work that I've been doing as far as working with young people and older youth in Vision Zero and Safe Routes to School. So a few years ago, WABA actually got a National Safety Coalition grant to do some work around Vision Zero, and the project they came up with in partnership with me, so I'm with Safe Routes Partnership, and just to go back a little bit, we're a national organization that works to advance safe walking, rolling, biking, scooting in all communities. And so we were brought on as partners for this project, along with a great research team at Howard University's Transportation and Research Data Center. So the three of us paired up on this project for a Road to Zero grant. And we wanted to pilot a near miss crash reporting app. So we were thinking about, looking at the traffic data, especially in wards 7 and 8, and how crash data and near misses are really impacting young people. We wanted to have a way for young people to report these safety incidents that are happening in their neighborhood. So as they're traveling to and from school or to friends' houses or to transit or just traveling around their community, we really wanted to find a way to make it easier for youth, especially, to report where these near misses are occurring. So that was kind of the focus of this grant. And again, thinking about engaging older youth, so mainly middle school and high school students might be traveling a bit more independently, and who would be like the target audience for an app like this. And just a bit about why we were focusing on near misses, why is that important? So just talking with the team at Howard that manages the city's traffic data, they actually were talking about there's a lack of near miss reports and near miss data in the data sets that they have. And so it's kind of hard to address where those safety incidents are occurring and to develop the necessary solutions without having that data. And Howard wanted to make sure that, that they were, informing those solutions and next steps based on what the data was actually saying. So on their end, they were thinking, better data really helps to form safety solutions around engineering, education, and equity. And so we wanted to, pilot this app and get some information from youth and their families and some school staff about where these near misses are occurring. And again, really thinking about priority areas in wards 7 and 8. Since we know that there are high rates of traffic fatalities, serious injuries, and near misses in those wards. So Howard, their team really went and did the data collection and data analysis piece. So they were able to identify priority intersections in wards 7 and 8. We asked to look at intersections that are close to schools, especially middle schools and high schools, since this would be a youth-focused app. So they collected their data, and then we went and developed and distributed a bunch of surveys to young people, students, teachers, staff, families, community members. We also hosted a community event at Hart Middle School, conducted some focus groups, and then the ultimate goal is to use this data that we collected in order to create this near miss reporting app, again, so that young people can really share what's happening as they're traveling around their communities. A reason for hosting a community event at a middle school is, again, we wanted to work with older youth and get some of their experiences and really think about what are the concerns regarding safety as our older youth are traveling around the city, especially in wards 7 and 8. And we also held a community focus group, a virtual focus group. So we actually had our event at Hart Middle School. I think it was the day before spring break. Maybe it was like a beautiful spring afternoon. Nobody really wanted to be inside. So like we had some youth come, but it was definitely like, I got why there were kids who were like, I just want to go play basketball in the park. Like it is nice outside. So we were able to collect some youth surveys during that time, but also figured that we probably needed to do pivot to some other community engagement efforts, both to reach youth and also adults. So we held a focus group as well on Zoom to collect information again about near misses, where they're occurring, what would make people feel more comfortable walking and riding around their neighborhoods. And I can share a few examples of what some of the feedback we got during those focus groups. Hopefully you all can see my screen here. Yeah, so, we hopped on Zoom one evening and invited community members to come and just ask them to share, what would make it easier and safer for you to walk and roll around your community. So people said all kinds of things, whether it was lighting or bike lanes or, the roads are too wide and I don't feel safe biking on a wide, on a wide street. So we asked questions like that. We also asked, just like, where do you see a lot of crashes? Where do you see a lot of near misses? So, people targeted, specific intersections or the areas of the city, and also noted a lot of really dangerous driving behaviors, both around school sites and also in other areas around their neighborhoods. And then we actually went on and we asked people, if they've experienced near misses or witnessed those, what do those look like? They shared some ideas. And then we also asked people a bit about some of their favorite apps. So since we're actually trying to design a safety app, we wanted to get some tech information too, thinking about what technology and app features people like and what they use in their daily life. So we really want this to be an app that people actually use to report if there's a near miss or a safety incident. So a little bit from our focus group, and then just wrapping up lastly, thinking about some of our takeaways here. So main takeaways are really that, safety remains a concern in Ward 7 and 8, especially for young people. Both traffic safety and personal safety were of importance. There was a young student from Hart who shared that she's actually concerned about men harassing her as she's walking to, transit. So she can actually get to transit safely, but she also had these personal safety concerns. Engaging out of school partners when you're trying to engage youth. So a lot of schools are at capacity right now when it comes to the resources they can provide. So try to reach you through lots of different avenues, both in school and out of school. Youth-friendly app design can actually appeal to all kinds of age groups. So same apps that young people are using and like, adults actually like those too. Some of those same strategies can be applied across age groups. And also if you ask for data, really follow up with that action. So when we, ask for this data about creating this app, our follow-up step is to actually create this app that will be piloted. So we asked for data and it's linked to a concrete action step. And lastly, here at the partnership, we just published a new guide about how to partner with youth on safe routes projects that includes some basic safe youth engagement strategies, examples of youth-led and youth-focused projects, including the Vision Zero grant we worked on here, but also other youth-led projects that are happening across the country. So anybody else who's interested in engaging mainly older youth on Vision Zero projects, this is a great resource as well, and I'll make sure that we can share it out after the session is over. And I'm also happy to answer questions during the Q&A as well. So that's it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, Kori. I will go ahead and pass it now to Duwan. Duwan, is the video and audio all okay on your end? Perfect.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Can you guys hear me well? Can you guys see my screen? Okay. I'll take that as a yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Duwan Morris, and I'm from the Montgomery County Department of Transportation, and I manage the Safe Routes to School program and also our pedestrian safety program. So Today we'll just give you like an overview of what we're doing, what we've done this past physical year, and all the outreach and education that we've been doing to youth and young adults around the county. Just for a number, we've participated in 230 events this year, hosted and being invited to, with 11 more planned, with just about less than 2 weeks away from the physical year ending on June 30th. And the first thing I want to talk about is our Heads Up, Phones Down video competition. This is the video competition that we offer for high school students that wants to make an impact on distracted driving and walking. So they're challenged to create a 30-second PSA video where they can educate other peers about the dangers of distracted driving and walking. This year, we went to 8 different schools to promote the contest, where students can enter as an individual or as a group. The individual prize was a MacBook Air, the grand prize. The second runner up gets an Apple Watch. The third one up got a tripod. Or if they entered as a group, the first grand prize was $800 in Visa gift cards, followed by 4 and 2 for second and third place. This year, we hit a record-breaking number of 185 entries, and we were able to surprise the students at their schools with their winning prizes. So this is really a big ticket item for our program. It's one of the most popular contests that's ran by county government, where we're able to use the creativity of these young high school students to spread our message about distraction when it comes to driving and walking. Another contest that we host is our pedestrian safety art contest, where all elementary school students can have a chance to draw a work of art to promote pedestrian safety in their community, what safety look like, what safety should look like, and what tips they want to give to other young people when it comes to pedestrian safety. This year, we received 400 works of art. Literally, so many young, amazing people drew these wonderful pieces of art, as you can see on the screen, where they gave some safety tips, and we were able to promote this art on our social media, on our website. And the prizes were, there are 2 categories, K through third, where they can win a Barnes and Noble gift card up to $75, 50 for a second place, 25 for the third place, and fourth and fifth, you win an Amazon gift card, $75. And the same things for second and third place with Amazon. So this was a really huge hit for our program. It's the 3rd year that we've done this pedestrian safety art contest, and it's a wonderful way to get these young people to talk about pedestrian safety. When you think about the gist of it, when you talk about when you're doing a contest such as this, not only are you reaching 400 young people, you're reaching 400 adults as well, because when they submit, they have to submit with an email address. They have to submit with a phone number. And the likelihood of a second or third grader having a cell phone is slim to none. So the parents have to see what they're doing. They have to be able to reinforce this, and the conversation is hopefully started in the household when they're doing this contest. So it's a wonderful way for us to start engaging with young people and families about the importance of pedestrian safety. Another program that we hold is our Vision Zero Youth Ambassador Program, where we recruit high school students around the county to join a 5-month program where they can be safety ambassadors in their community. This year, we received 139 applications to go through our 5-month program, but we selected 40 high school students to be a part of the program, where they were able to pick a project that aligns with their skills, their abilities, and their interests. For example, a community event, a survey, an online contest, a community walk. So there was different projects that they can choose from based on what they're interested in, and they go through the program to execute those projects. And this was an amazing way to engage high school students when it comes to the work of Vision Zero. And we also offer SSL hours, student service learning hours. We offered up to 35 SSL hours for this program, where they can receive those hours and also still promote the work of Vision Zero. So they were able to execute those projects. So many great things came out of this program. And as you see on the screen, this was the cohort of 40 young people that graduated from the program on May the 20th. So definitely a wonderful program to get the youth engaged and start talking about the work of Vision Zero. Bike Month just passed. This year for Bike Month, we went to 13 different schools in partnership with Recreation, the Excel Beyond the Bell program, where we took all students through our course that we have. It's called a bike rodeo. We'll set up cones, we'll set up an obstacle course, give all students helmets, and show them how to navigate the roads on the bike. We do not teach them how to ride the bike, but we do show them how to do it safely. And those that don't know how to ride a bike, we offer a scooter option so you can go through the course as well. But what's amazing about this program is that we introduce them to bike safety, and also we give away free helmets for completing the course. So even if the child does not have a bike, it's a step in the right direction where they can go home and say, "Mom, I know how to ride a bike safe. I got a helmet. Can you work on getting me a bike?" And in the future, when I see this program, hopefully we can give away bikes in the future. But it's a wonderful program. We were able to give away 400 free helmets this year. And also we started out at Rock Creek Valley Elementary School, where we hosted a Bike to School Day, where 75 students biked to school, more than ever before. And we raffled off 20 helmets for the school. So Bike Month was a success. We were able to reach a lot of students to talk about bike safety and distribute a record-breaking number of helmets through our program. One of the last programs I want to talk about is our Walking Wednesday program. This past year, we kicked off this school year with Walk to School Day at Wheaton Woods Elementary School, where we promoted walking and biking to school safety. And also every Wednesday after that, we launched a call for schools, said, "Hey, every Wednesday we're going to come to a different school and we're going to promote walking and biking safety on your schools." We give out free bags, reflective bags. We gave out free vests. We gave out free reflectors. Go on the back of the back of the back of their students' book bags, and we had our mascot Zeal the safety zebra make an appearance at every school for 30 weeks in a row, from October to last Wednesday was the last Walking Wednesday. This was a record-breaking initiative that we've done every single Wednesday. We were at different schools celebrating the joys of walking and education about safety. We were able to reach 20,000 students through this program, and I'm really, really excited because it really opens the door of that conversation about how to get to school safely and what to do to make sure you'll be safe when it comes to safe routes to school. This is just a snapshot that I want to show you about our events. Like I said, we hosted 230 events this physical year, with 11 more just to go. It's a record-breaking number of our program, of what kind of outreach we do. We do all the planned outreach with the school system. We partner with recreation. We go to community events. We go in front of grocery stores. We've been to local community block parties, festivals, fairs, anywhere that people are, that's where we're going. You got to get to the point where you stop asking people to come to you, but you go where the people are, and you speak their language. No matter what they need, we have to make sure as a county government, we're ready and able and willing to supply their needs. So that way we can enroll fatalities and serious injuries by the year of 2030. So we are on Flickr. If you know anything about Flickr, everything that we do is on Flickr. I'm going to put the link to our Flickr account in the chat right after this presentation, so you can just go through and see a lot of the outreach that we do every single day all throughout Montgomery County. So at that point, I'll stop. If you want to learn more, you can also go to our website, montgomerycountymd.gov/SRTS for safe routes to school, and montgomerycountymd.gov/ped safety for our pedestrian safety. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Duwan. Loved all the photos of the artwork, and of course your mascot Zeal, very important. I will go ahead and pass it to the last speaker for this session, and then when Jacob wraps up, we will move into Q&A. So Jacob, go right ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here to present on our work here at National Organizations for Youth Safety. To start off, I'm the executive director, and I'm proud to share that our organization is building an inclusive and connected, diverse, youth-powered movement. We truly believe in the power of young people. We believe in letting young people lead and uplifting their lived experience. And I think that is first and foremost in any of this work, is really identifying what does it mean to shift power and resources to young people. So a little bit about us. Our mission is to unite, equip, and build capacity for young people to lead in addressing the most pressing health and safety issues affecting them today. So a key portion of that is recognizing that these issues very much so intersect with each other, from road safety to mental health, to people living with substance use disorder and gun violence prevention. And here at NOYS, in any of our programs, whether that's safe mobility or even mental health, we really try to bring forth the full aspect of caring for young people in a holistic way. So our bold mobility safety commitment. NOYS reaches about 90 to 95% of youth who identify as marginalized youth, LGBTQ youth, houseless young people, disabled youth, young people living in rural communities, suburban communities, young people suffering from housing insecurity, and young people as well who represent underserved communities as well. And so we target and work equitably with them as a national organization to participate in social and political advocacy on mobility safety. So we incorporate their lived experience. We believe that young people are the experts of their own lived experience. And so we start off by incorporating their lived experience, move on to a training of storytelling, and then incorporate young people in the safe system approach. We talk so much in this field about getting to 2030. We talk about the importance of engaging in infrastructure and engineering and enforcement and the various aspects of this work. But if we're not empowering young people and positioning them to understand these frameworks and using their lived experience, then we're doing a disservice to our work. And so all of our programs really incorporate education and engaging young people on the safe system approach. Secondly, we support existing youth-serving organizations. We provide free training and workshops all year long for organizations who are hoping to build their capacity and incorporating our frameworks of shifting power to young people. That includes providing technical assistance to organizations that are hoping to engage in advocacy around safer streets, as well as just realizing how can I truly give the power to young people, being a nonprofit or being a government agency. And sometimes that's taboo. Sometimes young adults have a difficult time recognizing the power of young people. And so we work in tandem with them to build youth-centered campaigns that are driven by young people. Third, in terms of accessibility, which is highly important, young people today, this new generation has unfortunately grown up in a virtual world. And so we have to make sure that our virtual capabilities are driven in a youth-centered way. And so we provide youth with online and digital tools that refine their learning inside and outside of the classroom. In 2022, over 30% of our young people were not currently attending school. And so the way that we approached our work was very unique in that our young people were not a part of a classroom. Our young people were not a part of existing youth leadership organizations. They were just young people that were hoping to make a difference in their community and get compensation for that. And so our work had to come from a perspective of these young people being a part of community development, but also centering their health and safety. And then finally, my favorite part is that a unique thing about our organization is that we promote other aspects of health and safety that are directly linked to youth mobility safety. So if a young person comes into our programs and they're saying, hey, my infrastructure sucks in my community, I really want better walking and biking in my community, but I'm also suffering from mental health and I also have family issues. We direct them to resources on the ground, work with our local, hyperlocal partners to provide those resources so that young people can show up as their full selves, but also so that they can get the resources as a community member. We look at young people as community members because that's who they are. And by just simply looking at them as peer-to-peer educators, we're really not giving them the full potential and the recognition that they deserve. So how do we actually work? We have national campaigns where we work all across the nation. We distribute our resources out to our hyperlocal partners because as a national organization, we cannot do anything alone. We are based in Virginia, but we work tirelessly across the DMV and across the country to develop meaningful partnerships with organizations so that we can effectively reach young people and go into communities and understand more about what young people want. We have hyperlocal intervention development, where we train and equip young people to develop interventions, centering their community members, centering humility, recognizing power dynamics, and really building a safe system approach through their work. So through all of our interventions, they're engaged in infrastructure, community mobilization, or advocacy. And then finally, youth-centered workshops and technical assistance. So all of our workshops really incorporate young people's voices. We have youth facilitators, we have youth trainers, and they actually work in tandem with our young people as well as our partner organizations to develop these workshops and technical assistance support. So really looking at our work, we recognize that young people are centered in our national campaigns and our hyperlocal intervention development as community members, and then finally as trainers and workshop facilitators. And that's what shifting power to young people really is providing the resources, the training, and the support for them to engage in their community. In all of our programs, we offer stipends automatically, or young people can come to us and request a stipend as needed. And then finally, I want to briefly highlight a few of our campaigns that are directly related to mobility safety. Global Youth Traffic Safety Month, which is a national campaign that really recognizes that in order for us to meet the global goals to end road traffic crashes and serious injuries by 2030, we must position young people at the forefront of that, and particularly young people in North America. And so young people go through a set of activities. It's a gamification set of activities where they engage in infrastructure, engage in global road safety awareness, they engage in work zone safety, various aspects of mobility safety. They complete the challenge, and then at the end of the month, we name 10 national youth mobility safety champions across the country, and they receive seed funding, mentorship, and an opportunity to attend 2 conferences to expand their experience as mobility safety champions. And so that's a part of that shifting power, is really saying, I don't want just a young person to participate in my program, but I want a young person to have further learning and engagement opportunities, to attend conferences, to speak. If I could bring a young person and replace me right now, I would do that, because that's giving them an opportunity to really see themselves as leaders in this work. So that's Global Youth Traffic Safety Month. We've held the Seatbelt Saves Challenge for over 7 years, which this year we reached a record number of 60 schools across the country, especially around 15 schools across the DMV who participated in the challenge. And that's where schools execute Seatbelt Saves challenges and buckling up in their school. They create an innovative educational campaign at their school and engage community members, and then they have a chance to win cash prize. And the unique thing about this campaign is that we really shifted our language from just getting young people to buckle up, but also allowing young people to see seatbelts as a form of technology in their vehicles. And that's really changed their perspective, because for decades, young people have been seeing buckle up, click it or ticket, and that's just not the fab for today's for today's young people that are on social media. And so seeing that as a technology feature has really bumped up and built a more robust program for us. Our last two are our National Youth Transportation Equity Fellowship, which is a fellowship that really is an educational, immersive opportunity for young people in 4 states across the country, including DC, to engage in addressing transportation inequities in their community and addressing that through pedestrian deaths. And so they develop interventions in their community, they engage their community members, they learn about transportation inequities that they're being faced with, and then they're provided seed funding of up to $2,000 to develop an intervention in their community. So we're really excited about the further launch of that. More information will be shared as our DC folks engage in that fellowship. And then finally, my favorite is the Youth Mobility Safety Projects, which is a mini grant that's provided for young people to develop interventions in their community addressing any mobility safety issue. They have to go through a set of 2 trainings, but this really is an opportunity for young people to raise their voices and be provided funding directly, whether they're a student, whether they're a community member, up to age 29, to actually engage in addressing infrastructure related issues in their community. So I've talked really fast, but I'm excited for the questions and the engagement as we continue this panel discussion.
Thanks so much, Jacob. So I will go ahead and kick off our questions for this afternoon. So the first question that I have for y'all, which it sounds like some of you have already touched on this, but I'd love to give anybody who hasn't an opportunity to kind of elaborate. What have you learned from working with young people on Safe Streets efforts? And that can go to anybody who's excited to answer it.
I can kick us off. Well, so much, it's kind of hard to point to one thing, but I think that, just young people's, ideas and talents and expertise and solutions are, just as important, if not more important than mine. And actually too, that young people really do care about, traffic safety and mobility safety. Jacob, you kind of mentioned like how to make this relevant, how to make this, topic something that, that appeals and actually connects to, to young people. And just talking to, like the youth that I work with, not only here in DC, but also across the country. This is something that young people are really concerned about. I was talking to a group of students in Atlanta who had just started driving. And one of their main concerns was not like they were afraid of hitting other pedestrians. And they said, for me, like my main experience is being a pedestrian, like I'm just starting to drive, and they just kind of like have this new awareness about what it means to navigate a road. So it's conversations like that and that storytelling piece and giving young people the opportunity to really, share their stories, but also share their solutions. That is really, kind of giving me new insight into how young people are thinking about Vision Zero and mobility safety and mobility justice as well. So that's been one takeaway, just that young people do care about this, and I want to support their efforts to, make streets safer.
For sure, absolutely.
I agree, Kori. When it comes to young people and safety, we can't reach young people without including young people. And when it comes to technology is going faster than a rotten banana. So we need to figure out ways to incorporate young people in our message so they can reach other young people. We're not getting younger, we're getting older, and technology is just advancing. There's so many, every time you turn around, there's a new app, there's a new thing that you can do on the app, and there's a new way of doing things. And we have to really make sure that we're allowing young people to use what they know works to tell our story. A lot of times we want to do things that we've seen work decades ago. But like I said, things change so fast. And if we can give young people an opportunity to find our message and put it in today's time, we can reach more young people than we'll do with our own capabilities. So what I've definitely learned about young people when it comes to road safety is they care about it. They know it's an issue, but you got to find a way that they can express it where they can use their creativity to impact other young people.
For sure, absolutely. Jacob, did you have any thoughts to add?
Yeah, definitely. So unfortunately, young people are suffering. Like, young people are suffering more than ever. That's what I would say, and that's what we're hearing every day at our organization. And so something that we know that's working is that providing the holistic resources to young people first, and then engaging in the program secondly, is really what's going to bolster your engagement, but also provide more meaningful and more authentic engagement. So we partnered with Crisis Text Line, which is a 24-hour counseling service where young people can text noise to a number and they can receive 24-hour counseling. We also look at how can we provide stipends to our young people, transportation. And that's just a tip in terms of if you're really trying to bolster your youth engagement, is recognizing that they're suffering. And so if you want them to address transportation related issues, you have to look at what are they missing in their life. Some of them are missing access to food. Some of them are missing access to parenthood and family. Some of them are going through mental health challenges. Some of them do not want to go to school. So if they're not going to school, how are you also, building that relationship with them to support them? And so that's something that's just really disappointing, is that I think over the past few years, we've just recognized a huge decline in terms of young people's mental health. And I think that our industry, our transportation related work, can really do a benefit by focusing on mental health and other issues as well.
And I can add on quickly what you're saying, Jacob. I think that's so important. And yeah, definitely relevant to everything we're talking about today. And I also understand that not only is that a lot, not only are young people dealing with a lot and, and have that burden, but in thinking about how we can support them too, like what you just said, where young people are suffering and do need a lot of these resources. I know that for me in the safe routes world, like some of my safe routes practitioners actually don't know how to offer that support or where to get started. So, even if you're not aware of the mental health resources in your community or food resources in your community, or you kind of don't know how to offer that support to a young person, there are probably other partners who are in your community who are experts in whether it's mental health or housing or food, who are able to offer those resources. So I think that working in partnership is really important too. If your main focus area and area of expertise is transportation, that doesn't mean that you can't still offer some sort of support around mental health or food to a young person. It might just mean, kind of being intentional about who your partners are and bringing more people into, that kind of holistic service and support provider framework. So if you don't know partner, I ask people all them who knows what resource, your partnerships are everything when it comes to that holistic approach.
I would definitely agree that when you think about the holistic approach, when you're dealing with young people, a lot of time I can speak for county government, local government, or government in general. Most of the time, it's okay. This is what we want to address. It's always there's an agenda, there's a definition that we've already interpreted. So when we think about safety, I'm coming to address safety when it comes to pedestrians, safety in your community. I'm coming to address bike safety in your community. But when you really sit back and really listen and learn what they really need, that safety is not the definition that they need. Safety, for example, when I was in Baltimore City, you think about safe routes to school, just like Kori said, when you talk about safety, walking and biking is not their main concern is my child being bullied when he walking to school? Is there walking past liquor stores that's open before school? Is there drug dealers or gun violence that we need to address before we even get to the part about, hey, let me feel comfortable with my kid walking and biking to school? So we really have to sit back and listen and learn and see what really they need, because there's neighborhoods that's crying out for help, but they just don't know the number to call. So we really have to sit back and really listen and learn and try to make sure we're addressing the critical need before we come with our agenda to check off the box that we've been trying to check off.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point, Duwan, that often leading with listening is a great way to figure out what the need is, and that can help kind of shape the work. I know we don't have too much longer left, so I do want to try to get a couple more questions in. How do you start working with youth in Safe Streets efforts if you haven't done it before? What should be your first steps? And this is open to whoever would like to answer it.
I always kind of ask people to think about both like your readiness to work with youth and younger adults, and also what your overall purpose and intention is. Actually, there are people who are just starting out, and I talked to a lot of people who are actually not used to working with middle school or high school students or young adults, and so kind of feel a bit nervous about diving into the depths of high school. That scares a lot of people, and so sometimes I just say well, acknowledge that it's something new and there might be something scary and that you might be nervous about this, and then again, find your partners, find people who are actually experts in this work. I know I share Jacob's work and Noy's resources all the time. I share stuff from Duwan and Montgomery County Safe Routes to School all the time. So I usually just start with, seeking out partners and kind of finding those my own support systems in order to lead that work. And then just acknowledge too that, just like with any type of a community engagement, that, sometimes there is a lot of trial and error, and that young people will tell you if you are doing something wrong or if they are not feeling whatever it is that you are, are presenting them with. So just be open to that feedback as well. And again, I think Stephanie just mentioned kind of, leading with listening, I think is another really, really good first step. Yeah. So partner and then listen to what young people actually want and care about.
And I would add to that, finding your strength, knowing where your strength lies, and see where that strength can overlap when doing community engagement with young people. And also, just like Kori said, learning from the young people. These young people are really, really smart. They're really, really talented. They'll let you know what they need. They'll let you know how to get the message across in the most effective way. Literally, so you don't even have to be an expert at what you do. All you have to do is have young people that's excited that to use their talents and give them the platform to be free. A lot of times we put people in, put a circle in a square box and wonder why these young people are uncomfortable. Let it go and let them be free, and they'll show you how to get our message out in a more creative way than you can probably ever went to a 4-year degree school to do. So I would say that that's the two most critical things that you can really do is trying to find your strengths and finding the strengths of those young people as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask one more question, and then we might hopefully have time for at least a question from the audience. So let me go ahead and how do you best reach marginalized and underserved youth in Safer Streets efforts?
I think for me, one opportunity that I've been a part of this work since I was 16, and I'm very grateful that I had organizations reach out to me. I had the network and the connections that I started off at a very early age. But oftentimes young people are not brought up in that way. Young people, the first thing that they hear about related to mobility safety is that they need to drive safely on the road. They're not really brought into the conversation around infrastructure, but they do have the lived experience. And so at Noise, we conduct at least 30 to 40 hours per week of hyperlocal grassroots outreach, meaning that we're reaching out to social services, we're reaching out to human services organizations, PTA groups, and really just making those connections with young people who are not a part of existing youth leadership organizations, those young people who don't have the current resources to fund going to a big conference that discusses the state of transportation safety. So that's sort of how we reach underserved and marginalized youth. And then we conduct a survey of like, what do you identify as? There's a difference between a young person who identifies as someone who is being oppressed by systems of oppression. And we take that to heart and we utilize that in all of our programs. And so my recommendation is just to go outside of the box, really look at where are the young people that are getting the services that they need and bring them to your organization and provide those resources to them.
Absolutely. Thanks.
I would agree. I would agree. For when it comes to underserved, you need to go where they are. And like I said, I'd say it till I'm blue in the face. You have to listen to them and see what they need. When it comes to underserved youth, when it comes to transportation safety, I can speak boldly and almost confident that a lot of underserved youth, they don't know when it comes to transportation safety. What does that mean? I go to so many schools in underserved neighborhoods, speak to so many underserved youth, and I say I work in transportation. The first thing I can always bet on it. They'll say, "Oh, you're a bus driver. You drive buses," and they don't know that, like Jacob said, there's infrastructure around it. They don't know they see these bike lanes, but they really don't understand the bike lanes. They see these new signals, but they really don't understand these. So we have to be really, really intentional about going into these neighborhoods and when we're creating these changes to make sure they're educated on what these white lanes mean when they call bike lanes. So you got to really be intentional about going there and making sure they're educated and listening to them, making sure we can meet the need that they have. Because I can't speak for anywhere else, but Montgomery County is such a diverse county, and the need in Bethesda is not the need in Germantown. The need in Germantown is not the need in downtown Silver Spring. So you can't come with the same language and the same slogan and the same elevator speech for every community, because every community don't speak that same language. And that's why we fail every time as a government, because we keep thinking it's a one size fit all shoe, and it's not. Every shoe, every neighborhood wears a different size. Until we figure out a champion in that neighborhood that can speak that language, that can really translate it into in simplest terms for that community, we'll never ever get to the point where communities trust us. We can foster a relationship with them where we can go forward from them when we go into their neighborhood saying, "Hey, what's next? What you getting ready to do next? Or what do I have to do?" I do so much outreach in the community where I'm going and giving away free stuff. Or for example, at a grocery store, we're giving away some safety tips and kind of like some grocery bags. Oh, what do I have to do for it? Oh, what's the catch? Oh, why y'all giving this away free? They're traumatized and they're hurt because the government have not been there for so many years. So when we finally pop up, it's okay, like what's getting ready to gentrify now? So I can go on and on about that conversation, but I'll stop there.
A whole other panel discussion, Duwan. But so important. And also thinking about, like young people can also be those messengers and can play a role in government. These are, I think young people are, leaders now, but will also be, our future engineers and planners and policymakers. And, so kind of thinking about, like young people as those community influencers. And like Jacob, you mentioned, you'd rather have a young person talking on this panel than having you. Same, like if there is a young person available, can happily take my place. So thinking about who is the messenger and who really has that, that community influence, that can also be a young person. Like, you don't have to be the messenger all the time, nor should you be the messenger all the time. So something else to consider.
Great. Thank you all so much for your great responses. We have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to jump over to one of the Q&A questions that came in. This is to Duwan. This person is wondering how to request a Walking Wednesday event out at their school or area. They live in Montgomery County, but they haven't seen any of the events happening in their area, and they'd love to have one take place like in their part of town during the next school year. Are there any next steps that you can advise them on?
Yeah, so the schedule fills up really fast, literally within 15 minutes of emailing the schedule out and put it on our website. All of the Wednesdays filled up. Is only 30 in the school year, and we have about 100 and something schools. So you can just go to our website, montgomerycountymd.gov/SRTS. We'll open the schedule for our Walking Wednesday in September. So if you just follow our website, we'll keep you updated on that. But if you need more information, you can always feel free to email me, and I can keep you in mind.
That was montgomerycounty.gov/SRTS, right?
montgomerycountymd.gov/SRTS.
MD.gov. Thank you. I'm trying to type this into the chat, which I think I just did.
Yes.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, if anybody has any final thoughts they'd like to share in this last minute of this panel. But thank you so much, everybody who attended, and thank you so much to our panelists. If anyone would like to leave us with any words of wisdom, feel free to.
I just want to go ahead, Kori.
No, I was just gonna say, thanks for having me. I think this was a great discussion. Duwan and Jacob, I'm big fans of your work, so I appreciate being in conversation with you all too.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely good to have these conversations, Jacob and Kori. We've been in so many conversations, so many rooms talking about the same thing. But I would just encourage any young person that's on the line that's interested in traffic safety as a career or just as a passion to be an advocate is something that definitely worth fighting for, something that not only you can get paid for, but literally it's really what you're made for, because at some point or another, you're going to walk, bike, or drive, no matter what you do. And everybody deserves to get to and from their destination safely. So please join us on the fight to Vision Zero so we can end these road fatalities and serious injuries, hopefully sooner than 2030.